In Jiu-Jitsu, the windshield wiper is often considered a movement that people make when they're leaving the beginner levels. What are some other things that coaches are looking for?
I would say I can see some progression when people start to actually frame and start to think about recovering guard instead of always holding onto a grip as they get past or just bailing every single time. When I see people actually framing and maybe finding their feet back on the partner, that shows that they're starting to understand a little bit.
And you see,
I think like when I grip up with somebody, and then the way they take tension off the gi, or they're not leaving any space in between like the cuff and the skin, things like that. The way they, turn their hand and there's no slack in the gi, that kind of a thing, I think is a big one. And sometimes like you can't really see it when you're just kind of watching, but an experienced coach could always kind of see, the tension lines running through the gi and where those lines are going. Is it controlling across the back, under the lat? All these different things. Even the way you hold the collar. Some of the beginners tend to like just squeeze with all their hands, but a really good player kind of holds at the bottom and then levers the gi and then puts pressure on the wrist bone into their chest, right? So it's like there's this constant tension of like pulling and pushing on the wrist and the neck area, the collarbone area. So like hand placement, the way you put your hands on the person, the way it feels and the way the tension looks on the gi, I think it's like a differentiating thing between someone who's a complete beginner and someone who has a little bit of experience.
Just their stance. Usually a beginner will be much heavier on their feet when they move side to side or forward and backwards. You'll see how well people engage, head position when they do engage, and when you tie up. Someone's real stiff and then they relax as they shoot. Someone that you notice is better is much more loose. They're not giving you telltales of the attacks they're gonna go for. Head position, I mentioned that before. Engagement, they're not backing up. The stiff arm, they're very comfortable going forward. They're comfortable when someone grabs them and they're comfortable grabbing for somebody. Those are what I would say are the biggest telltales of someone who, just from their stance and body language, is a better wrestler. Thumbs up.
Now we're gonna check out all this. Now we're gonna go take care of this ear. Ew.